Hello, we are alive and welcome to Spy Money. This was one of the worst weeks trading that I've ever had. I had calls, I had puts, and I had red. It's awful. I am down so much on my calls, it's not funny. I did come out this week with what I sold. I ended up coming out to a good of $3,000, give or take. $3,000 is nowhere near what I'm used to making, but that's not a bad week. $3,000 a week is $150,000 a year. So it's not a bad week. It's just not what I like. So we will have to see what happens from now on, from today. I've actually got in some trades and actually doing pretty good with it. I think that in the long run, we're going to be a lot better off. ES, it looks like it's in this descending triangle, and being in that, I believe it's going to go ahead and sell off right here. By looking at it, I think that we're probably going to gap down on Sunday. We stayed pretty much underneath this 15 all day, and by staying underneath that 15, that's a good sign. It actually kind of sold off on Wednesday. Thursday, it kind of come up. Friday, today it started kind of coming back down. We are staying within that trend line, and that trend is actually going back to, actually it's not a week, 1 hour. If you come back here, the 1 hour is going to be, starting from the top. We are staying within that. It's trying to break through. I believe that our whole problem is the federal government wants to stay out of the stock market. They are dumping money all week long, and that has really put a damper on all of us that wanting to short it off or to have puts on it. I think that on Sunday, I don't think the government will be so much in it. So I'm hoping that it will just go ahead and gap down. I'd like to see it gap down about 100 points. And if it would do that and just continue to go ahead and sell off, if it would continue to sell off through Sunday night and then Monday, I'm still sticking to my original plan I'm still sticking to my original plan of where I think it's going to go, and that is, I think we are going to the 1700 area. That's where I think we're going. We might go down to the 2000, and honestly, I'd be happy with 2000. That'd be fine with me. If we got down to here, that's still a lot of money. I am deep red in puts, and I think the majority of the people are, not only in our group, but in other groups, and I don't think that anybody really had any kind of a good week to brag about. So I think if you come out and was able to make some trades and come out with some money, I think you're probably better than most. And that's not bragging or anything, but I think that, some people were way down. And now if you count my past trades, I'm still down. But I don't count a loss until I sell it. So I still have time. We buy long in our group. So ES, that's where I think we're going with that. And then if we go back to the gold has been taken off. It is staying within that bear flag or bull flag pretty much. I'd like to see this go ahead and just sell off too. I'd like to see it get down to, eventually I think it's going to be down in the 12s, somewhere through here. I think that's where it's actually going. It's actually staying kind of up right here, but I'm still bearish on it. I think it's just going to drop. I think next week, I think the ES will probably bottom out probably around Wednesday. And I keep saying this in the other reports, but on Thursday, we're going to have less numbers than what we did this week probably. So by having that, I think we're going to actually rally because of that, which is really kind of stupid. But if it's better numbers, that's what they do. So I'm still, even though this is a bull flag here, I'm still bearish on it because of what the market's getting ready to do. None of them are playing exactly right. Crude oil. How did I not see that I was in profit today? I'm actually $50 in profit. I have been down a lot on this. I bought calls right on through here, and then it just sold off. And I don't like that. I think it was here. And actually, no, I bought them up here. And how I'm in profit down here, I have no idea. But the options they must have just jumped. But if I would have noticed that I was $50 to the good, I probably would have sold it. This may continue to rally on up, which I hope it does, especially since I'm in calls on it. So I'd like to see this just jump up and gap up on Sunday. If it did, I may go ahead and take my profit because this is so volatile right now. I just don't know. I wish I would have went ahead and averaged down here because I would be up a whole lot more here. But I thought it was going to drop to 15. How it's actually gotten to this point, I don't know. Leaks of the Saudis and the Russians and coming up with a deal and everything. Then we heard that was all fake. So I don't really know. It must be real because it's going up. Or the market just don't care, which is about what it has on everything. Today I got in. I thought the U.S. dollar was going to spike up, so I got in some USD CAD, and I got stopped out on. I had a tight stop. If I would have had a less tight, I would have been up here and made some money with it. But I didn't. I was a little afraid of it. So I put me an alert down here because I thought this would drop down and hit it, but it didn't. And I got in, I actually got in about right on through here. It went up. I was in money. Was that there or? No, it wasn't there. Let's see, where was it? I got in down here. That's where it was. I got in down here. I think it was. Let's see. I don't know when I got in. I got in and I was up like around 80-some pips on it. And I should have sold, but I didn't. I thought it would just go ahead and continue to go up to this trend. Ended up dropping out, stopped me out. I think I was down maybe $15, $20 or something. And so I got stopped out. I had a tight stop on it because I just wasn't real comfortable with it. And so it came down and actually stopped me out right here, I believe it was. It was in the afternoon. And then it actually took off. So if I hadn't had as tight a stop on it, then I would have been in the trade and I'd be up here and actually made a whole lot. So that's the only problem with your stops, as far as if you make them too tight, then a lot of times you'll lose the trade because of it. So I just missed the ramp. It actually came back and then took off. So, but that's because of the dollar. Watching the dollar, how it ended up dropping off, and that's what caused it to drop off. If we go back to the NG ended up taking off today, rallied quite a bit. If we look at that, let's see here, it actually rallied hard all day. And that is nothing at all like ES. ES did not do that. So usually those two will run side by side, but it's natural gas, not natural. That's not the Qs. Natural gas took off. So I'm in calls on that too, so maybe it will come back to where I want to be. The only problem with all this is if this is raging and your crude oil is raging, that will affect the ES market as well. We really need it to go ahead and sell off. Billy, any thoughts on MRO, any oil stocks, ETFs in general you're looking at? The only thing I trade on oil is CL. I trade futures only. Because it moves so much at night, I want to get out. There's also a link for a learn how to trade futures down in the description, and it's a course that I have. It's $199, and you can take it, and it will actually teach you how to trade futures. Any of these futures, it teaches you all of them. So that would actually help. But MRO, we'll look at here in a minute. Let me get through this, and then we'll come back to it. So we have NQ. It actually sold off just like, well, not really sold off. It just pulled back and then come up just like ES did. They run concurrent. We go down to VIX. VIX actually sold off. I thought VIX would actually rally today, but since ES started coming down, it's doing that. With this, let me go back to a 15. This has been, I wish I'd got in puts up in here and just held it, but I didn't. I thought it was going to keep on going up, but if I'd got in puts up here, that would have been some really good money. We don't need that anymore, and we don't need this one anymore. So we're out of both of those. But if ES drops really hard over the weekend, then this is going to take off again. And let's go to TLT. That's the bonds. It's still climbing. It's starting to get close to a sweet spot, but it's staying right on our area here. So when you look at that, it's staying right in that trend that we had drawn out, and today it's still, right on that area. So I'm not ready for TLT yet, but I will soon. If you're in our Discord group, you'll know exactly when I'm ready for it. And if you're not in the Discord group, I guess you'll find out when we've already made our money on it. So that would be a good reason to join. And then we have Tesla. What did it do today? I didn't even look at it. It took off and then it just sold all the way off. I take it back. I did look at it. I looked at it right here, right on through there, and it sold off all day. So this would have been good to get in yesterday. Usually, this is just a pump and dump. That's all it is. And it was over how many cars that they had produced and got out the door. It was actually more than what they should have or what they expected, and that made it rally up. But Tesla is a lot of pumps and dumps in there. This was actually into the cup and handle, and it's just sold off the whole time. Then we had that pump come back down, so it's still staying within this trend. So if you look at this, if you look at that, it's actually staying right across the top of that trend here, and it bounced up a little bit. It'll probably come on down though. So that's probably where it'll be. And I've got one call on it, and I've got a sell on it ready. So whenever it happens, that would be great. I got in it late. Actually not late, I got in it too early. Let's look at ABT. ABT actually consolidated over. I'm looking for it to take off. I've got long-term calls on that. I think that it's going to be a good one. It's V-shaped here, pulled back, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens with it. I think it's going to take off here within a week. That's the one where they're making the 5-minute test for the CV. As soon as that actually gets out, then I should be making a lot of money on that. AMD I haven't looked at in a while. Selling off. One of our group members got in puts on this. I'm not sure if he's sold it or not. So we'll have to check on that. XOM. I think I might have it in here. I've actually got calls on that. It was Exxon Mobil. Sold off today. We were way up on it, so I'd say it's probably going to continue to going up. If we go back to a 1-hour chart, look at it, and it's still going up. It's got a good trend to it. And if we look at might be able to get a channel out of it. Rolling through here. Yeah, rolling through there. So it's still in the upward channel. So I would say that probably Monday it'll probably start rallying up again and probably gap up even. So, but a bunch of us are in calls on it, and I think at one time we were up, I think 110% or so on that, and none of us sold it because it was still going up, so we're holding it. So that one's good. Hey Clint, and let's go ahead and look at Billy's MRO. What is that? Marathon Oil. Not one I'd be in right now. You would think Marathon Oil would actually be going up with crude oil's going up, but it's not. But if I'm not mistaken, isn't Marathon Oil a lot more on the gasoline side? I think it's more on gas. And I guess if gas prices are going down, Marathon will go down. So I would assume that this right here, which was 3.4, so that's when the big drop hit. And then it came on over. CDC wants everybody to wear masks now. I just got that come across my phone. They want everybody to wear the mask. I just don't see me wearing a mask. I couldn't buy a mask if I wanted to. They're not out there. I tried to buy some for some friends of mine in the medical field and sold out everywhere. And Walmart is actually getting ready to start shutting off the aisles to where you can't even buy any retail stuff. You're only going to be able to buy groceries and pharmacy and HBA. They're doing that in Ohio and West Virginia. I heard Michigan, North Dakota, or no, not North Dakota, but Nevada and Virginia. And I've asked the Walmarts here locally, and that is not the case yet, but I looked and could see how they were moving everything and how they had everything roped out to where they're only letting so many people in. So it's going to happen. So if you need anything at Walmart, clothes or shoes or whatever, you better be getting it now. Probably tonight, because this weekend you might not be able to get it. Let's go to BA. I heard a lot of people made some money on BA the other day. Had that big old jump, and then the rage right there, and that just sold off. So that was a good opportunity if you could have got in, but it's hard to follow stuff like that based on how the markets are moving right now. So can't see them all. Go to JetBlue. I got in JetBlue. I bought some puts on it. It's coming down. Today, see, I got in yesterday. I think rolling through here or so, and my calls on, or my puts on that thing are, let's see, I think I was actually went down on them today. No, I'm up 41%. No, that's the wrong one. Yeah, I'm like broke even on them. So I don't know what happened there. I guess because of this big increase here, and it come down and come up again. Because I was actually profitable on JetBlue. Missouri, same way. That's what Clint said on Walmart. So I'm hoping this will just keep on selling off. I'd like to hold those until bankruptcy. That's where I think that's probably going. I mean, we're down to $6 right here, and then it spiked up, and then I'm kind of riding it down a little bit. I wish I'd got in up here, but I'm going to ride it down. I'd say it's probably going to drop even further than the $6. I'd like to ride that thing all the way down to 0, and 0 would be, what is that? Rolling through here somewhere, but I'd like to get it down to about $3 anyway. If I get it down to there, I'd probably just hop out. Once I get up some money on it, I'm going to hop out, and we're going to hop on Southwest Airlines and Coles. That's probably what we're going to do. Coles started selling off, and I was actually up on Coles. And again, today with this big old pull coming back up, it actually brought my premiums down. So it looks like after hours it's already started selling off. And I think this will probably gap down, and then I may sell it tomorrow. I was actually looking to try to sell it down around $5, and I thought it would actually drop there quicker. So if we look at a trend line, and if we go from here to here, that is 105%, and from here to there is 33%. It looks the same to me. No, it's 50%. I don't know where I got 105. 50%. So that was over 1, 2, 3, 4 days. So we're probably looking 1, 2, 3, 4. So probably next Friday is when Coles will probably end up selling off. So that's one for you to get in. And CRM is doing nothing. I thought it was going to take off. And this is exactly the way the market should be looking. I mean, this is a bear flag, and then it just dropped off hard. And if you go back and look at ES, it's not doing it. It held. This right here should not have happened. This should be down here. So the feds are holding this up, and they're only doing it on ES. So that's the problem. Going in with SPY puts is actually hurt everybody. See here, Twitter's actually dropped off. Same way. And if we look at Uber's selling off. So all these have bear flags and they're pulling back, but ES is not. You got AT&T is pulled back. That's what SPY should have been doing, and I like to trade SPY because it's easy to get in and out, but because of the feds jumping in on the ES, it's held it up. I'm hoping that this thing just tanks to no end on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. As soon as I get to where I've got got some money made on this right here, I'm pulling the plug on it, and I'm just going to trade futures. I'm going to hold off on this until they figure out what they're going to do, because this has just killed me on premiums. We'll look at a Target. Target's in a descending triangle right now. I think that probably next week sometime Target will actually come out of this. I don't see this selling off. It could, but I just don't see it. It's just like Walmart. If you look at Walmart today, we had this good increase right here, and then I sold all my calls today because I didn't want to hold them over the weekend. I was afraid. I started selling right through here, and then my last one sold on this spike right here, and then it went up even more. So I'm okay with that. I wish I would have actually made about $1,100 more if I would have sold them right here. So if I'd have sold them here, I could have made $1,100 more than what I made today. I made approximately $1,000 on my Walmart calls right here, but it just, this consolidation right here killed my premiums. And if it would have come in and then spiked right here and went up to right, say the 119.91, then my calls would have been beautiful. I mean, I probably would have come out about $3,500, $4,000 if it would have done that. But instead, it consolidated all day long in this channel from here to here all day, and that just eat my premiums up. I probably could have made more money right here than what I did making over in here. So the longer you hold those, the worse it's going to be on you. And I think we ain't looked at space in a while. I haven't looked at that at all. See, it's doing the same thing. This is what ES should have done. The Feds are holding S&P 500 up. That's what they're doing. They're holding that future up. And by doing that, it's not letting it drop. So no one's really looking at all this stuff. They just look at the Dow Jones and the S&P 500. So they're holding those numbers up so that the market doesn't look as bad as it is. But when you go to these other stocks, it's bad. And look at Six Flags sold off hard, real hard. So everything's selling off except S&P 500, and it's just, I think it's just wrong of the government jumping in and doing that. We'll look at LK. That's the Lufkin. That's the Chinese Starbucks. I thought that it might pump up right here, and I was just trying to buy it and then get a quick little scalp. That's kind of what I was going to do. I was thinking long term, but me and John, we discussed it, and we said if we can go ahead and make some money on it and just try to get out of it, then we were going to do that. Mainly because everything else was in the crapper, so we thought we would just go ahead and try to make some money somewhere else, and it's ended up going over, which I kind of thought it might do this, but I thought it would be more of an uptrend, so that the premiums that actually start going up. So we'll just have to wait on this. I'm long on it, so it's no big deal. I would like to have had some money out of it this week, though. Disney's selling off. It's practically in the same way that everything else is. It come down. Let's see here, and then it starts selling off here, where ES kind of come back and it's just holding up here, but everything else kept dropping. So, do y'all got any tickers you want me to look at for we cancel this for the weekend? Well, I guess not. So let's go back. Always end on ES. See how that thing's just held right here. It started on Wednesday and has just held all week. I'm hoping that this thing sells off. It will help my MES shorts. I bought 2 contracts. I didn't go in deep on it. I just wanted enough to, if it gaps down 100 points, then that'd be $1,000 I can make on that. So, and I think it will. And if it gaps down 1,000 or 100 points, if it gaps down that, it'll continue to go and hit the circuit breaker, and I'll just ride it out through Monday. I think I just hit that one, didn't I? NCL Asia. Selling off. I should have gotten in puts on it, but I didn't. I thought that based on the news reports and everything, I thought it was actually going to turn right there, but it didn't. And but I'm in it long. I think I'm in it till January or something. This will turn, and as soon as the market turns next week, then this will actually take off. So we're probably looking, it's probably going to touch the $7 range again. So if you're wanting to get in puts or something, you might want to do that on, or not puts, but calls, you might want to do that on Monday. But I'm not saying to do that. I'm just based on what I think is going to happen in the future, because it's already starting to curl a little bit. So that's what I would say. Win I would not get in yet. Win is the hotels in Las Vegas, and by getting in those right now, I think we have a long time for those before the hotels will start opening up. So we're probably looking another month out on that. So you may want to ride puts on the way down. It's probably going to come down and test this, 35 to 32 area again. So that's what I would say on it. I wouldn't get in that until it actually shows the confirmation of the turn. Even if you have to pay a little more premium on it, I think you'd be better off to do that. And if you went long on it, I think you'd be fine, because I think it was, what was that? To 153 was where it was. That was back in January, and it sold off that hard. But I would say that I say we're probably going to test this again, possibly 19, but I'd say probably around the 32 area, and then it'll probably reverse. It did come down. If it touches down here at the 35.84, you're looking at a W for a win. So whenever it comes down, win. Made a what do you call it? I don't know what you call it, but a win for a winner, but it's actually a Win Resorts. A pun, that's what it's called. So anyway, I think that's where it'd be, but I think it's going to do a double bottom down there. When do you think we could buy long BA calls? Man, I don't know. I don't know what you could buy anything long calls anymore. I'm confused about the market. It's not doing what it normally does. I mean, it looks like it was trying to, trying to make a support here, and it's actually trying to pop up, but I'm not sold on it. I don't think I'm going to get any more long calls until we actually see that there is a reversal on it. Just like right here, if we would have got in over in here, then we could have rode that up. But even if we got in there, if you looked at it like this, if you looked at it right there, so actually, I mean, to get in right here, would you think that it's going to continue to go? I mean, just looking at it right here, the way it's working and going, it almost looks like it's probably double topping here and a drop. So the next day actually looked pretty good. So if we'd been watching it close enough, then we could have got in it and got some calls and just rode this little area. So I think the big thing with us is we've been focusing on SPY more than we have individual stocks. And usually whatever SPY is doing is what individual stocks are doing. But in this case, the Feds were pumping it up, but the other stocks were actually still falling. So I think that's one thing we messed up on. Netflix. So look at that, Billy. I'm in Netflix. I bought calls, I think right here. That's where I bought calls. I think Netflix is long. I bought them for long term. I made $1,200 on it a couple weeks ago, and so I bought some more. I don't even know how many I've got. I only bought one, so I'm not in it very much. I bought one just to get something going with it. If it starts turning, I may go ahead and average it down and getting some more to going up. But as far as right now, it's kind of looking like it's coming on down. It's staying below that 15 there, so I don't think I'd really get any more right now. I know some people were averaging down TQQQ. I would not have done that, and the reason I wouldn't have is because it's still coming down. Won't you average down when we get to the bottom? If you average down now, I mean, it may get your average down, but if you'd have waited and come on down, I think it's going to sell off more. This one is not really a head and shoulder. Say here's a shoulder, here's a head, but it didn't quite make the shoulder, so I don't really consider that a head and shoulders. But this is going to drop, and when it drops, it's going to be at least down to the 66.28 area. But I really think that we're going even more. So I'd say that, I mean, we could be the 64 or the 58 area. I think we're going to be down in this area. I think we're going to make a new low. And if we do, what you buy here now is just going to be that much less money down here. So if anything, I probably would have taken that money, instead of averaging down, I would have bought puts and just went ahead and let it keep on going and took the money from the puts, and you would have made money on those and enough to compensate for how much you lost here. So it's called hedging. So I think that's what I would have done. So has anybody got anything else? I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I'm tired. I need a day off. I'm looking forward to just relaxing tomorrow. Of course, I'll still be in the Discord group from time to time, but not like all day long. Clint, you got 4 cent calls, 100 of them. Yeah. Well, that's great, but you might get them for a penny down here, and then you can beat mine. I'm the 2 center. You're still double what I pay. So, but anyway, and as far as the calls and everything, this week I ended up buying closer to end of money calls. Like if we took Walmart for instance. If I took Walmart and then I went to trade and let's see here. If we go, let's just take this one here for instance. If I do that one, and if I come down here, if I bought down here like we try to buy the cheap calls, the problem with it, of course these are jacked numbers now, but if I bought down here and it don't move very much, we don't make that much. So what I started doing this week, and I usually do it all the time, is, well, you could take, again, these numbers are jacked up now, but you could buy one call and only have one commission and buy one, and then when it moves up a strike price, you're going to make like $200. So, and if it moves, like if this one down here would have to move probably $20 to make money, so you bet 25. The money calls and sometimes come out really good on them. But I think what concerns me is the commission that we're paying to buy 100 calls. We're actually spending. I'm on a lower price than most, but you're on. That's like $130 to buy those, where I could come up here and buy the same one for $1.10. So when you add your commission into it, it may not be such a good deal down here anymore. So I think me personally, I'm going to start getting up here and buying less contracts and save the commission, and then be closer to end the money and to where I can actually make money quicker. So a $5 move would actually make me money, where if I'm down here, a $5 move doesn't really move it enough. You have to go 15, 20 points or so before to do it. So, yep, that's what you want. Buy what you want, that's for sure. I tell everybody that. I never tell anybody what to buy. Just tried to help and give a little different side of it, and maybe we both learn. Maybe you'll teach me something on it. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night, and I wish you all well. I hope you all did make some money. You won't be able to use it anywhere because everything's closed. I want you all to stay safe. When you're out and about, just stay away from people. It's not like you can't talk to them, but just try to keep back a little bit and enjoy life and don't get sick. We don't want anybody dying on us, and we definitely don't want anybody getting sick either. So, but anyway, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the chat. And the YouTubers, I will see you on Monday morning. You all have a great weekend. Thanks, Billy.